This is the Going to the Endzone Podcast.
Welcome to this week's Going to the Endzone Podcast. Jack Murray and Nicole Christina. I'm Grant Pugh, coming to you live from the Mill, where we had a great live show on Wednesday night. Now we're doing our podcast this week, guys. It is rivalry week. Let's get right to it. North and South Friday. Need I say more?
Battle of the Bell. It's going to be 0-3 teams, two 0-3 teams, but no, they're not. They're 0-2.
They're 0-3.
Oh, my God.
Can
we start over?
We'll keep going.
Okay,
No,
I'm
we'll
sorry.
Keep going.
Okay.
Yeah, both teams 0-3, Nicole, like you said, but I think that is going to honestly motivate both teams a little bit more. Not only is the bell on the line, that gets the players and coaches fired up. Coach Herron and Coach Gant have a lot of experience in this rivalry, but knowing that, this could be your first win of the season, and who knows, it could be the win that turns your season around.
Yeah, and I know we were talking about the fact Coach Gant said, no red this week. This rivalry, it's deep. And having them both on the podcast and having them on the show, rather, and getting to hear them talk, you can tell that there's some respect there. And so it's going to be a really, really good game, but they both want to win it. And, it's going to be interesting.
Kickoff at 7 o'clock Friday night at Terre Haute North. I've heard the South students maybe going G.I. Joe, North students going Barbie. So we're going to have a G.I. Joe Barbie showdown.
Okay, that even more fun.
Well, can't wait for that. Another rivalry we love this week, Linton Sullivan. They've been meeting for a long time. Arrows, we've seen the Arrows, and now the Miners. Miners both teams coming off a loss. So this is a key game for both.
Yeah, both teams 2-1. I think Linton's going to be very motivated this week. They lose in overtime. It's the first time they've lost in like 20 or so regular season games. So I think obviously Sullivan Week's going to motivate the Miners no matter what,
right.
But especially, facing that early season adversity, I think is going to strengthen the Miners this year. I think they're going to be ready to roll against Sullivan. And for Sullivan, they're a very talented team. They just ran to Northview, who we're going to talk about in a minute. They've gotten off to a really great 3-0 start, but I think it's at Sullivan. Sullivan, they have a little bit of a bad taste in their mouth, losing to Linton in the playoffs last year at Sullivan. So they'll want to, defend their home field.
Yeah, there are not two teams that are more likely to show out, I think, for this rivalry game. 2-1, both of them. And I think you're going to see it's going to be a battle of the quarterbacks and what they can do. Paul Oliver, obviously, he's the one that's going to take the ball and run with it. We've got with Sullivan, they have some weapons in the air a little bit more, but I think it's going to be a battle of the quarterbacks. The younger quarterbacks kind of get to show out, and that Sullivan's going to be rocking because this is what they wait for all season, even if it's at the beginning of the season. They're thinking about it all year round.
They haven't hosted this game in a while either.
Yeah.
It was at Linton the last couple of years. As Coach Oliver said on the show, he's expecting to be 3,000 or 4,000 people there.
Right.
We expect that too. The Miners and Arrows Friday night at 7. Jack, you harped on Northview a little bit. How about Northview? 3-0, an impressive win to say the least. Nicole, you were there against Sullivan. Your guys, we'll start with you, Jack. On your thoughts on Northview first.
Man, Northview, they just run the ball like I've never seen. Tyler Lee and Kyle Kotze, they both ran, I believe, for over 150 yards the last 2 games. It's just their bread and butter, and running the ball wins the game. If you can run the ball and control things up front, you're going to win a lot of games, and that's exactly what Northview's done this season.
Yeah, and I think that they're going to continue to be able to do that, I think, this week and going forward. And it is really, really key to have that mobile quarterback and be able to use him as well as Lee. You've basically got 2 running backs there that can really, really step up. And I think that West Vigo, obviously, it being rivalry week, they're going to come to play. Oh, yeah. But Northview just looks so strong this season, and I think they're going to continue that streak.
Nights at home on Friday night. Vincent's Lincoln got a big one against Mater Dei last week. Back-to-back trips to the Wrights Bowl. Vincent's Lincoln is at home this week against Evansville Central. They're 2-1. How about a big Saturday? North Vermillion, South Vermillion. We had Coach Crabtree on the podcast last week. You guys know how big this game is to the community up there with North Vermillion, South Vermillion.
Oh, yeah, and I think that both getting those Saturday wins last weekend, what were those games like? It looked like they both came out swinging.
For, South Vermillion, they start the day off with a 48-8 win. Everything they wanted to do, they could against Park Heritage. And North Vermillion, they win 53-6. They had their running game going. Both teams are 2-1, and I think both teams are very talented. North Vermillion, they haven't beat South Vermillion in a while. I think it's been since 2020 or so. So North Vermillion's going to be hungry. Coach Crabtree's going to have those boys ready to roll, but it's at South Vermillion. They have to go to Clinton and win the game. So, and I know Coach Barrett's going to have his team ready to roll as well.
It's going to be so much fun to watch all these.
It is, and a shout-out to North Central. They got their first win of the season. They're playing Saturday against Red Hill as well. A lot of high school football Friday, Saturday this week. Sycamores and Hoosiers are coming on Friday night as well. We can't wait for that. Speaking of Sycamores and Hoosiers, coming up next, ISU head football coach Kurt Mallory is going to join us as we talk that big game on Friday. And then Marshall head coach Steve Weber will join us. Hey, you guys are watching our Going to the End Zone podcast. More right after this. Kurt Mallory. Coach, thanks for taking some time to stop by on a busy week. We can't wait, though. Sycamores and Hoosiers coming up on Friday night.
Yeah, we're excited. I want to give a special shout-out to the Spirit Squad for being here and Tammy bringing them, but excited for this week. It's a big weekend for everybody, not only Indiana State, but all the local high schools.
Coach, obviously, you know the history between your family and IU. Does that motivate you more this week? I mean, I know it probably, you know, when you're playing IU and you're Indiana State, there's not needed to be added motivation, but, you know, your dad coached at IU for a long time, that connection to IU. You coached there as an assistant, I believe. Does that motivate you to win this game even more this week?
No, not really. This is a big game for the program, and that's what it's all about. It's a great opportunity for our young men to play an FBS program, Power 5 program. We have quite a few young men. We have 18 from the Wabash Valley on our team. We got 63 from the state of Indiana. So anytime you play an in-state school, they'll be excited.
You talked about the fight this team has showed all year through spring ball, through summer conditioning. Now the fight of them wanting to bounce back after last week as well. How have you liked the fight that you've seen in your team this week as they try to bounce back, Coach?
Well, no question. You know, we had to clean up some things, no question. But the way they came back to work, you know, that was a challenge. We need to get back to work and get back to playing the way we know we can play. It was uncharacteristic for us to turn the ball over. We take a lot of pride in not committing penalties and taking care of the football. And we did part of the penalty part, but not the football part, which is a big part of it, as you know.
Coach, what stood out to you most about your team, you know, through fall camp and just through one game?
Well, I just think the closeness of this team. This is a very close-knit group. The work ethic that they've put in. They went to work the day after the last game of the season. And, you know, when we got in front of them right after the game, there was no question it hurt. And they're ready to get back to work, and that's how this week's been.
I look to your captains. You know, a couple of them spoke at the news conference today, Dakota Caton, Lucas Hunter. How have your captains, when you have captains like that have played a lot of good football for you, you're going to rely on those guys not only Friday night but in the coming weeks as well, Coach?
Yeah, you said it. We've got great captains. We've got great leadership. And we're a veteran group. Being a veteran group is an experienced group. And we've got 38 seniors, and, you know, that's fourth-year seniors, fifth-year seniors, sixth-year seniors. But a lot of guys play a lot of football. And when you go through tough times, you know, that's where your leadership takes place. And our guys have stepped up.
When we talked to some of your guys throughout fall camp, they all said the same thing when I asked them what their biggest goal was. It was to win the conference and to make the playoffs. And I know you share that same sentiment. If you're going to accomplish that goal, just what's the biggest thing your team needs to do down the stretch this season?
Well, we got to take care of the football. We got to get that corrected. But it's going to start with running the football. We got to run the football. We got to stop the run. That's where it's going to come down to. But we got to get some depth going. We've built some depth. We're playing a lot more guys this year than we did a year ago. That's going to help us down the run. You know, part of it is you are going to get banged up a little bit, but that's where your depth really comes into it, and I think that's where we've really improved.
What's it mean? Of course, coaches do a great job of compartmentalizing things. You're going back to IU on Friday, you know, a place your dad, Coach Dad, you've been a part of. What's it mean to coach in a football game there? Certainly you have a game to win, but you got to compartmentalize. I know it's going to be a special night for the Mallory family there too, Coach.
Well, you know, the focus is on this program and on this team. You know, I learned that a long time ago from my father, you know, and it was never about him. It was never about that. This is much bigger. You know, this is about two programs that want to get a win, and we're both 0-1. We both had to get back to work, get some things cleaned up, and we're both looking for our first win, and that's what it's all about.
One of the strengths of this team that I've witnessed is the receiving core. It seems like every receiver, you know, can make a play when you need them to. Just how big of a luxury is that for you as a coach to know that, you know, no matter who your quarterback's going to, they have a good chance to make a big play?
Yeah, we do. We have a lot of experience coming back there. You know, Harry Van Dyne, Dakota Caton, a Sullivan product, Kevin Barnett, and there's more. You know, Ethan Chambers. Got a lot of depth, and, you know, they got to continue to make plays for us.
Defense, your defense could travel as well. I know your defense, they played well last week. You're going to expect a lot more of them this week. I know they're chomping at the bit to go up against a Big Ten opponent as well, Coach.
No, there's no doubt about it. We'll have a great challenge. We'll have a great challenge offensively. They play really well on defense. They fly around offensively. They've got weapons as well on the perimeter. They're physical up front. The running backs run hard. So we've got a challenge on both sides of football.
You have IU this week and then Ball State next week. Just getting the opportunity to play two FBS teams before you ramp up conference play, just how does that strengthen you as a football team?
Well, I think it's great for our program. Our program is always going to start its recruiting here in the Wabash Valley. Then we're going to go in the state of Indiana and to play 2 FBS opponents, non-conference. I think that's huge. It says what our program's all about. And then we're going to recruit from the surrounding states and wherever we have to go to.
Speaking of the Wabash Valley, you have a lot of high school coaches here, some college coaches here. You know how special high school football is, college football is around the valley in Indiana. What does it mean to have – sure, it's a wild week. We can't control ISU and IU playing on a Friday, but what a special night it's going to be to have North-South, ISU, IU, Linton Sullivan, and a bunch of big games all in one night, Coach.
Well, that's what it's all about. You know, you have a big rivalry weekend. I wish I could be there to watch a lot of these games. You know, I heard Mike say he didn't wear red this week. We never wear red, so that's not because of Indiana, but it is for another opponent. But that's what it's all about. You know, it really is. You know, and to play in these games, that's what it's all about. You know, you play in a rivalry game, whether it be for the Bell or whether it be for North Vermilion, South Vermilion, Linton Sullivan, Bloomington North, Bloomington South. That's what high school football is all about.
Coach, we can't wait to see the Sycamores and Hoosiers on Friday. Thanks for stopping by our show this year, and best of luck Friday night.
Thank you very much, and go Sycamores.
Welcome back to our Going to the Endzone podcast. We're coming to you on the road from the Mill this week. If you happen to catch our live Going to the Endzone show Wednesday night at the Mill, it was a great turnout with a lot of great coaches. One of them, Marshall head coach Steve Weber, happens to be our guest on our podcast this week. Coach, we had you on the show. Welcome to our podcast show now as well.
Thanks. Take it easy on me.
We will, and you got a big one on Friday, though. Speaking of taking it easy, you can't
Absolutely.
take that one too easy when Paris comes to town. Paris Marshall should be a lot of fun.
No, absolutely. We're watching the film on them, and they're going to spread the ball out a little bit. It's going to be exciting football for the fans to watch. And from my understanding, I'm excited to see, but I've heard the Marshall community really comes out and supports them. I can't wait to see the stands, full and the excitement. So
just how excited are your players for that first home game? I know you guys have driven all over the state, for your first couple games, but now you finally get to be back at home.
No, they're excited. They're ready to show the hometown what they can do. But like I said, I think most of those people that we might see have been traveling with us. So everything I've seen so far, the community has been really good.
And speaking of the first 2 weeks, you guys still searching for that win. What have you noticed, though, that makes you feel like, this could be that week and this could be that moment where the team could really step up and get that dub?
Well, even though we haven't had one, the team has progressed each week. They've gotten better day by day, rep by rep, and their spirits, their mentality, everything is positive and heading in the right direction. So I think it's going to happen.
Yeah.
It'd be nice if it happened this Friday, but it is going to happen. We're going to get a win. These guys continue to do the things they need to do to get better. So.
Yeah.
You've coached high school football for a long time. What does it mean to lead this team? You've led Linton, you've led Bedford, you've been a part of other programs. What does it mean to lead these Lions now as you look to build a winning culture there?
Well, that's exactly. For these kids to stick it out for the 3 years, and it's been a rough couple 3 years, to stick it out and keep playing. These kids love football, so they're hungry for it. They're going to do everything you ask. And, I hopefully, the staff and I, and with the kids' help, we can get them a win here or there because nobody should go that long. And I said they're doing the right things. They've done the weight training. They've done the camps. The 11-on-11s, the 7-on-7s. They've done everything they do. Now it's just something. The ball's got to bounce our way.
Grant mentioned building a winning culture. Just how are you trying to go about building that winning culture at Marshall?
The first thing is treat them like winners and hold expectations high. Like I said, we had an option camp. It's a 2-day option camp. We brought in Coach Tony DeMeo, which is an option guru, retired coach, and it was a double sessions 2-day thing. Right off the bat, that's their first experience with me, and we have an option football camp. So we do that. We do some 7-on-7s, 11-on-11s. But the weight room, to me, the weight room has always kind of been the big thing. And the administration, when I applied for the job, they did not have a weight position open at the time, and it's a job they've created. So it's the first year for Marshall to have that weight room during the day working out. So I think that's probably the main thing, the first thing. Once I get those kids loving that, get them stronger and faster, I think success will follow.
And of course, whether it's the weight room, whether it's on the field, you always have those kids that stick out as true leaders that are really there and really have pushed through the adversity of the last few years. So you look to some of the captains. What do they bring to the squad that really is going to push you to be able to get that dub?
Well, these four guys, those obviously they were voted by the team.
Yeah.
And so we got Louis Lopez, Kyden Boyer, Caden Maskey, and Ty Harper. And they make sure that the team is always living up to expectations.
Right.
You know, so when they start to slack down, they bring them up, they get them rolling. They come to me if there's any issues. They also, make sure the kids are doing what I ask and what I expect. So they're doing everything possible. Like I said, they're great kids, voted on by the teammates, and they're doing everything they can to get wins.
Yeah.
We talked a little about this Marshall-Paris rivalry. It's not Marshall-Casey. I said the C word. It's not Marshall-Casey, but Marshall-Paris has been a fun little rivalry over the years, Coach, and you're going to get your first taste of it on Friday night.
I'm excited. Like I said, it's neat to hear the stories and the rivalry, how it's developed and how it's built, and I'm excited to experience it. I wish I could have that excitement the same. I'm excited. I don't mean that in a bad way, but they've lived through it the last couple of years, and they're ready for it. So I'm excited to get that taste on Friday.
What are some goals for you in year one at this Marshall program? I know obviously getting that first win's got to be up there, but just what are some others?
Just for me is we don't worry too much about other teams. We're going to worry about us, do the things we can control. So every day, make sure we have a quality practice lined up for them. The coaches are doing the right things. The kids are working or hustling or getting better at football. But in the end, they love it. And if they leave every day enjoying it, they're going to talk to their buddies. They're going to talk to their friends. I got to get more kids out. We're sitting about 36 kids, right down a little bit lower in numbers right now. And there's more walking the halls. And they've not come out for various reasons. But I've got to get that message to them that this is something fun, something they're going to enjoy, and get them out there on the field.
What are going to be a couple of key points for you guys heading into this matchup?
Oh, gosh. We got to stay on the field.
Yeah.
Our first game, we had 5-6 guys going down, cramps.
Yeah.
And that hurt. At that point, the backups, although they're trying, they're doing the right things. It's just not the timing. So we went down a little bit there. Last week we had a couple injuries as well. If we can keep our starters on the field, and I think things will go from there. But we got to take care of the football.
Mm-hmm.
We got to tackle better. Our tackling's been a little bit suspect, so we got to tackle better and just match their formations.
Coach, before you tackle Paris on Friday, you're going to have to tackle our suggestion box. We're going to have some fun.
This is
fun
our
segment we do on the podcast. You're up first.
And
we're
you
all
get
going
to go first. All right.
We're all going to get one, but Coach, start out. Yes,
and
have some fun.
Read it off. Read it off for us.
Hopefully the handwriting's not too bad.
Yeah, if I can read it.
That's mine. Yeah.
What would your last meal be?
Oh.
All right, gosh. Surf and turf.
Ooh, delicious.
Yep.
Simple enough.
Medium well steak and some good shrimp. So.
Yum.
Yeah, I'll go with honey barbecue wings at B-Dubs. Sorry, no free sponsors, but B-Dubs, you can't go wrong with the honey barbecue wings.
I'm going to say my mom's burritos. She makes some really good burritos. Nothing like a home-cooked meal.
Nothing like home-cooked meal. I could do my mom's fried chicken, home-cooked meal, and chocolate pie to follow that as well.
Oh, yeah.
As we talk about food. Food is just as important as
we
football.
always end up talking about food. All right, Jack, you go next.
Let's see what we get here. That's the box over. There we go. All right. If one actor could play you in a movie about your life, who would you choose?
Oh, gosh.
That's a good question.
It is.
I know. Roy Scheider.
Right.
Just because I'm a Jaws fan.
All right.
There you
It's
go.
a good choice.
I'll go with Seth Rogen.
Oh, okay. I
Might
like
as well.
it. I like it. Oh, gosh. I don't know. Can you go first?
I mean, Paul Rudd. Who wouldn't want Paul Rudd? playing
That's
in
an
a movie,
excellent.
right?
That's
Paul
an
Rudd.
excellent. Okay. What about Emma Watson?
There you
Hermione.
go.
There you go.
Yeah,
Yes,
I love her.
absolutely.
Loved her growing up. Love her now.
Question.
Okay.
Okay. Well, is this the one?
I don't know.
It is the one. Would you rather have feet for hands or hands for feet? Coach, you're up.
Oh, my gosh.
Tough one, I know.
Hands for feet. And I don't know why.
I think hands for feet is the only answer because you can walk on your hands like you did it when you were a little baby, but you've never caught anything with your feet, right?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
I got some guys I think that are trying to catch with their feet.
Yeah. I mean,
It's
hands.
got to be
Hands for feet.
Yeah, it's got.
Hands
You
for
can,
feet.
you can hold. Yeah, you can hold 4 Mountain Dews.
I'm just
with that,
imagining. Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
just
right.
imagining.
Yeah.
It's not good. Okay, so
Yeah.
we're all
Very
on
good.
the same page there. All right, let's round it out with a good one
Yeah,
here.
gotta end on a bang.
Your least favorite household chore?
Dishes. They don't make sinks
That's a good point.
They're too short. My back just gets wrecked. So.
And it seems like they're always full if they're not deep enough, right?
Again, probably mostly me. But.
Yeah.
All right, not the act of doing laundry, the act of folding and putting away laundry.
Okay.
I will do laundry, and then I will not fold and put it away for like 5 or 6 days. It
That's
just
fair.
sits there. So I'm like, if I could just do laundry and have it automatically folded like that, what a world that would be.
I admittedly don't really like many household chores, but I would say making the bed. I think it's pointless.
Well,
You're going to get right back into it. I don't care.
back in
Nobody
it.
needs to see what it looks like. It's pointless.
I don't like dusting. I don't dust that often, but dust is going to come back. But you still have to dust and dust. So I would
It
put
kind of
dusting
gets
up
like
there.
all stuck in your nose and stuff too.
Yeah, in your eyes or your mouth. So probably
They
dusting.
call it a chore for a reason, right?
Yes. Hopefully, Coach, this segment was not a chore for you. We love
There
the
we
suggestion box
go.
every week. Thanks for dropping by our podcast this
Thank
week.
you, guys.
Best of luck against Paris on Friday night.
Thank you.
Thanks for
Appreciate it.
joining us.
Yeah, thank you.
He is the head football coach of the Marshall Lions, Steve Weber. Thanks for watching this week's Going to the End Zone podcast. We'll see you. Football starts Friday night.